Okay, measuring health. Mortality is measured in the number of deaths per 1,000 people in that age group or in that category. So what we have here is life expectancy at birth. These pictures are illustrating how long a person born in 2014 can reasonably expect to live in these different countries. And these life expectancies are based on basically the average age that people are living to at the time that that baby's born. It's kind of it's a prediction for that baby. So a person born in the United States in 2014 could expect to live to be 79 years old, versus a person born in Japan or Hong Kong could expect to live 84 years. So a lot is made about life expectancy, and if you're in a country like the U.S. where the life expectancy is lower, the assumption is, well, we must be less healthy, or that there's something else going on. But there are a lot of mitigating factors that determine life expectancy. So let's talk about things. Morbidity. Morbidity is a measure of the rate of disease within the population. And so, for example, here we have morbidity based on heart disease for males, 60.3 people per 1,000 in the population. Heart disease for females. CKD is chronic kidney disease. It's in red because the place that I got this graph from was concerned about kidney disease. Cancer for males, cancer for both sexes, cancer for females, diabetes for females, diabetes for males. Prostate cancer, I guess they're only going to measure that in males since only males have prostates. Breast cancer, they're only measuring females, while it is true that males can get breast cancer. But so you're seeing the disease rates. And then, of course, there are other diseases in the world. This is just the one that they listed. But morbidity is a measure of how much disease is present in different categories or age groups or sexes or whatever. Disability rates is another component of morbidity. How much your life is limited as a function of something that is going on with you. So it could be limitations of daily activity, having some kind of work limitation. If you're not 65 yet and you're receiving SSI or SSDI, then you would qualify as being somebody who's disabled. And so you see, oddly, the 6 to 17 age category had a high number there compared to the other young people. But really the 50 to 59 is when we really start to see higher rates of disability. And then by 60 to 64, about a quarter of people have some kind of disability. And then it really takes another jump after 75. And we'll talk about that older age group when we get to the next age category in the text. So disability rates would be another component of morbidity. So really we're talking about how healthy are people by measuring the flip side of healthy, right? Like how many people in the group are not healthy, either have a disease or have a disability. Now, vitality is measuring your health and your energy. So this would be the positive side, right? So when we look at vitality, the disability adjusted life years is a measure of the reduced quality of life caused by disability. So we're going to look at, okay, so given the longevity, the life expectancy predictions for your group, and then the expectation that some number of years should be healthy years, vital years, we can look at how much of that you lost by your disability. So here's a little diagram. So we have, at birth, your life expectancy, and then we have along the healthy life period, you see some little orange bars that are sort of impinging, because those are times when the person had something that infringed with their vitality, right? Where they had illnesses or an injury or something, and this is kind of just a generic example. And then we have in the orange part with the person holding the cane, that's showing the number of years that the person lived with a disability, an illness, or an injury. So, for example, if you're an NFL player, you're going to have a long period of time where you've got some kind of injury that you're probably living with. One of the things that they comment about all the time is that it hurts to get up in the morning pretty much for the rest of your life. So they're going to have some impact on the dailies, right? The years lived with injury are going to be impacting their vitality score. Also, if a person dies younger than they should have based on their life expectancy, those would be the years lost. And especially if they're attributable to disease or injury or illness, then that's going to be looked at as years lost. Of course, there's also people who can just have an accident that could also cause them to die earlier. And so that's going to impact their dailies. But usually we're going to be calculating dailies on somebody who's got something going on that's causing them to have limitations in how their life is being led. QALYs are the quality adjusted life years. So this is survival without vitality versus survival with good health. So how much of their life was spent in good health and fully functioning versus how many years they had some kind of loss of vitality. So here's the QALYs, and we see two different kinds of people being depicted here. In the gray box, it says, okay, we have a person who lived a short life. They died at age 50. So 50 life years, lived with a quality of life which they weighted as 1. They had perfect health for those whole 50 years. So they lived 50 years times 1 for the perfect health gives them 50 QALYs. The person in the white box, they're pointing at the rectangle that's on its side now, because they say, okay, this person lived to be 80, but they had a period of reduced health. And so they gave their life weight they multiplied 0.625 times 80. The 0.625 is showing that they spent a portion of their life in poor health. That's the portion of their life that they lived in poor health. And so they ended up with the same 50 QALYs. So they lived 30 years longer, but really ended up with the same score because they had that decreased functioning that happened in the later parts of their lives. So we kind of calculate the vitality of a person based on, how long they lived, and then whether the years that they lived were full of health and robustness, or if they were marred by illness and reduced vitality. All right. Well, that takes us through the biological parts of adulthood. I will meet you back here for the cognitive parts.